that for years. So they pull a lot of hustles and tricks, and they try to trick you into things they try to pull you into stuff with limited information. They don't give you the whole picture. So I never listen to them and trust them. But they do try to trick you, and they're very persistent with their tricks, and they use FOMO, this fear of missing out thing. One doctor actually said that word to me in like 2016 in New York and Brooklyn at Woodhall. I didn't know if it was a hint or something, but they said it to me once. And then I've been dealing with some of these telepathy terrorists, and they try to trick you and pull you into things. And sometimes you may feel like you're missing out on something, but you're not sure because you also may they may be trying to trick you and trying to frame you, set you up for something illegal they're involved in. And that's the vibe I get from these terrorists. But yeah, in 2018 they were trying to get me to download something called Bitswipe, and I looked it up, but I didn't download it. Then later, maybe 2019 or 2020, they brought it up again, and I downloaded it, but I didn't register it. But then they kept talking about that was some method of payment or something, and I was telling people maybe they did something with this because I felt like there's people who knew stuff I didn't know, so I was tipping them off about this jazz. But I told them it could be dangerous or a trap or something. And then one day I had some weird epiphany. I reported it to law enforcement. I think I even logged it in my DOJ letter. So I sent that to law enforcement. But there's something about that too. So I'd look into that. And then maybe you can catch these people based off of who's involved with these people based off of who registered to this bet swipe jazz. And their phone numbers or whatever the hell they're using, they use it. And their names, whatever they're doing. And that might be revealing of some of these people talking to some of these terrorists involved with this hostage scenario. And the telepathy people know about this Bitswipe because I've never heard of Bitswipe in my life in person. Only via telepathy is the only time I've heard of Bitswipe. Someone said this to me via telepathy. But like I said, it's not the modem as well. Also, if you look at my DOJ letter, my first one in 2019, there's an evidence log of all sorts of stuff I've been holding. A piece of this, though, is supposedly these kids would commit political abuses of psychiatry, throw me in a psych ward, show up at my house, steal my backpack, steal my evidence. And I guess what the vibe I'm getting is they're pulling handoff hustles. And the evidence I'm collecting, saving to give to law enforcement, these kids are stealing the evidence and then presenting my evidence as if it's theirs. For instance, like, here's one of their hustles. Like, for instance, in 2018, I found something called the HD link on my computer. And it just appeared on my desktop, and I clicked it. And all my med school notes were in it, and I didn't put my med school notes in this thing. So I was like, what the hell is going on? So then I got weird about it. So I took it off my computer, put it on a hard drive, and saved it. What I'm hearing about from some of these telepathy people, one of these kids supposedly got a hold of my hard drive with some of this evidence I'd saved. And this shitbag, someone they call Claudia, took the hard drive and then presented it as evidence as if she found it on me, as opposed to what really happened, me finding it on my desktop, saving it on a hard drive, waiting to give it to law enforcement. So maybe they are some of the people involved with the political abuse of psychiatry. They stole the evidence. Then rather than saying he found it on his computer, saved it on a hard drive, she took the hard drive and then claimed she found it on me, as opposed to what really happened. And my theory is she's one of the key people stalking me, whoever this Claudia girl is. I have theories of who she is. But because maybe that's how she knew I had evidence and why they committed the political abuses of psychiatry. Because they also commit political abuses of psychiatry when I make ideas, because they would steal the ideas, sell them, and steal money for them. Because there's something about my data as well as my ideas that they've been selling for money. And maybe other reasons too. And maybe also for betting manipulation. They had some psychosis bet these terrorists were committing. As well as political abuses of psychiatry, because they would always try to get me to try to abuse me into silence about talking about this neural implant and telepathy, and they try to abuse me into silence when I'd write to law enforcement and intimidate me for writing to law enforcement about this terrorist organization. So that's a key point, which is also witness tampering, whoever this Claudia girl is. That's like 20 years in prison. But I'd look into that and find out what's really going on. But there was something I found on my computer, and I still remember. It's called the HD link. And there was another thing, the DDNA plist, that was on my computer one day. And like I had my phone, and my messages disappeared. And when I removed it, they appeared again. I don't know what else it was, but I saved that to the DDNA plist. This was 2017, right after I was talking on the phone to this Amani lady at Apple. And that's when that happened. So I still remember that too. And I logged that. But I find weird shit on my computer. I'd log it on a hard drive. Now, if there really are people committing political abuses of psychiatry, and then coming to my house when I'm not there, and then stealing my evidence, and then giving it to law enforcement for their frame bet or whatever the hell they're doing, or just for a frame, or both. That may be the hustle these terrorists are pulling. So maybe they're pretending to be law enforcement, pretending to do investigations, stealing evidence from my backpack, and then misrepresenting the evidence that I'm collecting as if it's evidence they're finding on me. And that may be their hustle. So key point, very key.